This is a video response to ProfMTK and his frankly asinine video concerning the World Trade Center Cross. Now, there are many things I could say about this, but I'm just going to focus on his core points, which are pretty poor. We'll start with what he said about the American atheists' action against this, in asserting this is a violation of the First Amendment, and quite rightly so. He says that their action is frivolous, tin-eared, and indicative of their buying into the mythologizing of intersecting steel beams that were left standing, yada yada yada. Well, this is among the most ridiculous arguments that this commentator has ever come across. And this is from somebody who spent several years deconstructing the fuckwittery of creationists. This symbol has a clear connotation. It's one that is definitely a violation of the Establishment Clause. What, you might ask, does this have to do with me, not an American? Well, the answer is pretty clear. The victims of the atrocity enacted on 11/9, incidentally, we use a logical system of dating here in that little known place, the rest of the world. We were in good measure not Americans. Indeed, my cousin was a survivor, entirely through the happy chance of being in a conference on a lower floor than he would normally have been on. He'd have been dead otherwise. This is true for many people around the world, and this is not an American incident. It happened on American soil, sure, no problem with that. Happened to a big American symbol. The World Trade Center was such a symbol, but the simple fact is this was not an American event. The other thing is, of course, that the argument you present concerning the configuration of the beams is entirely valid, except, of course, the one small thing that you overlook in your commentary, namely symbolism, which is all bollocks, by the way. Hope you pardon the comic interjection there. In future years, when the symbol of the cross is represented in popular imagery, what are people going to make of this? Will it be merely, as you suggest, taken as one of the many natural configurations that a small section of the building could have taken? No, of course it bloody won't. It'll be taken as a symbol of the magic Jewish zombie and further testimony to the fact that the US is run by fuck-witted fundies. More importantly, while Americans largely, and I do mean largely and not exclusively, don't even know that the rest of the world exists, there were many families affected by this foul idiocy that were not American. Yes, we have to resist the impulse to mythologize the horrible, and yet, what you are doing in your video is endorsing that very thing. How can you explain that? I look forward to your response.